Hello there, this is Jenny McGarvey. I am here today to share with you the brand new Sweet Stamp Shop little kit or bundle, if you will. This is a brand new offering from the Sweet Stamp Shop. It goes along with any of the stamp releases. So for this month, the magical release, it will coordinate with all of the really fun stamps that are also being released in July. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you through all of the elements that come in this bundle and share with you a little bit of maybe how you could use them. This bundle is super fun and I'm excited to share it with you. So let's go ahead and get started. I will start with some of the cards. Now you will receive four 4x6 cards. As you can see here, there are 2 vertical and 2 horizontal. This first one that says, "Once in a while, in the middle of ordinary life, love gives us a fairy tale." And that's a really nice green color with this sprinkling of stars and a little bit of distressing around the edges. A vertical card that would be perfect for journaling that says, "Some kind of magical." If you can dream it, you can do it. And then also just this really fun watercolory modeled little card with the 3 banners up on the top. Now, I want you to go ahead and look at these in terms of that you could use them in a lot of different ways. This kit is bundle, kit, whatever, is not designed to only be for pocket scrapbooking or traditional scrapbooking, or to go ahead and enhance some of your cards. So this kit, bundle, whichever you decide to call it, I'm going to go ahead and keep calling it a kit just for the ease of my video, but you could really call this anything you want. It's just a gathering of materials to help enhance your projects. So it could be your cards, it could be your pocket scrapbooking, it could be your traditional scrapbooking. Now, in addition to these 4 4x6 cards, you will also receive some 3x4 cards. Enjoy the little things. And what's super cute about this one is the script is very fun, and then also the little jewels. We came, we saw, we conquered, which is fantastic with the journaling lines. Keep calm and kiss a frog. And what's cute about this one is not only sort of the distressing on the background, but then also just sort of the theme going with that magical fairy tale sort of idea. A nice blank card, which again, all of these are white on the back, which I think is great. You could use the cards for anything. So say one really just doesn't fit your theme or anything like that, you can definitely use the back. Now this one could go horizontal or vertical, as you can see, and it would be fantastic for a card. Gentlemen, don't kiss and tell. Such a cute card. And again, if you're not into the sentiment that's on the bottom of this card, I can think of a lot of ways you could find to use it. Say in your regular scrapbooking, you could totally just cover that up. So see, just use the frog and the cuteness on your page. A fun ombre yellow and white striped card, which I think is great. Another horizontal card. Okay, everyone look this way, smile, pretend like you're having fun, stop that, please, just one picture. Okay, everyone look this way, snap, 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 or not. If you can dream it, you can do it, which I love it. It's such a cute little card. And then this stars with the banner. Now, I think that you're probably thinking that this is fairly themed, which it is. It's giving you sort of a magical sort of idea, but it is not limited to that. And I think that you're going to see how I use it here in a little bit. Now, we also have 3 different die cuts as well that go along with these 3x4 cards. This one that says "This just happened." Magical little die cut, which is super cute. And then this one with the simple crown at the bottom as well, which is very cute. I love all the colors, the fun pastels, the sort of green overall theme, but then with the pink and the purple and the yellow as well. It all ties together really well, but it's not overly matchy-matchy. Now, in addition to this, we also get an exclusive little stamp set, which is so fun. And as you can see, we have a whole bunch of different stamps that looks like there's 3, 5, 7, 10 stamps on here. Okay, everyone look this way. We came, we saw, we conquered, or not. Magical. Lots of really cool stuff. I'm really excited to use that one. And then some fun bits and bobs. You receive a little glassine bag full of some fun little elements that match a bunch of buttons in various colors. Then on top of that, a whole handful of wood veneer. Now, I'm going to show you something after I show you all the wood veneer. So now there are circles, there's this arrow, there's some crowns, there are some banners, and some stars, which if you have ever watched one of my videos, you know is my favorite. Now, what I want to show you is so cool about this is this stamp set coordinates with all those wood pieces that you just saw. So this circle that says this, oh yeah, stamps right on top of there. The little arrow down here, oh yeah, magical stamps right on top of that. Crowns, you guessed it, crown fits right on top of that. And then also the same is true with the little stars as well. So as you can see, there's a lot of versatility here, and what we're going to share with you in the future is how to use all of these elements for card making, for traditional scrapbooking, for pocket pages, for whatever. So it's not a kit in the traditional sense. It is meant to enhance all of your projects and really add to it. I am going to go ahead and use this set of items right now for one of my weeks of my pocket scrapbooking, week 25 as a matter of fact, and I will use other items from my stash along with this kit. I don't think that there is a need for it to stand alone. I think it should enhance what I'm already doing, and I think that's a fantastic idea, and I'm excited to use it in that way. So let's go ahead and bag all of these items up, and then I will share with you how I'm going to use it for my pocket pages. As you can see, I have my notebook ready, and my cards, and embellishments, and stamps, and my photos as well. And we will get started on that.
So now that we've taken a good look at the kit, we're going to go ahead and get started with the pocket pages. That's how I'm choosing to use this collection of goodies for me. However, you could definitely use them, as I said already, for cards or for traditional scrapbook layouts. Now, what I'm excited to share with you is that this does not have to be a feminine spread, because mine isn't, nor does it have to be special. This is just an ordinary week that I'm using this for, and I think that you'll see at the end how fantastic it really does turn out, just being completely ordinary and just any other day. Now, as you can see, I'm throwing down all of my photos that I have already pre-printed. And remember, you saw at the beginning my little notebook where I plan out my pages. That works out great too, because I already know where I'm going to put everything down. Now I'm going to start choosing some of those cards from the collection, and I used that really fun fairy tale one at the bottom and the yellow with the green banners at the top. And now I'm looking for a filler card for that 3x4. I had my eye on that purple one for a while. I thought it was really pretty cool, and I liked that I could add a whole bunch of journaling specifically about my son and the lawnmower right next to it. I will admit I also really like that it sticks out above the edge of the page protector at the top where it says this. That die cut feature is really cool. So now as you can see, I love that fairy tale card at the bottom, and what I love about it in this particular place is that it's just ordinary life, and ordinary life is really pretty great most of the time. So I wanted to use that there to show that. So now anyway, I'm going to start embellishing this page. I already have the wood veneer stars out, and I'm going to go ahead and use the acrylic stamps and just go ahead and stamp some of those small stars all around those three banners in that upper left-hand corner card. I like doing, just like I typically do, a little scattering of things, including stamping right on top of that wood veneer star and adding that also eventually to those other stars over in the banners, but you'll see that in a little bit. Anyway, I like adding the sprinkling of stars. I think it just gives it sort of a whimsical, sort of, magical feel, since that's sort of the theme of this entire bundle of supplies. Now, I'm going to go ahead and now add this next smaller size of the stamped stars, and then also go ahead and add the very smallest. I think that this is so fun. I really love how it looks, and it turned out exactly how I wanted it to, which is great because that doesn't always happen. I'm using the black Stays-On ink, not only for these cards, but also for the wood veneers. I use it on these cards because these cards do have a slick surface, and I'm not sure how long it would take other inks to dry, and I would for sure, without a doubt, smear it. I'm going to go ahead and use a glue dot on the back of that wood veneer star that I stamped on, just so I can go ahead and adhere that star down. I love those glue dots in that dispenser. So easy to use. Now, as you can see, I've pulled out that wood arrow, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp the magical stamp right on top of that. It takes me a couple of tries. I am not what I would consider to be a stamping expert. I think I do just fine on paper, but stamping on wood veneer is definitely really new for me. What's exciting about it, though, is that with the acrylic stamps, it's really easy to fix any mistakes. And as you can see, I do make a couple of mistakes. I'm also re-inking my Stays-On pad right now, which actually ends up being a mistake also because then it's way too juicy. So mental note to all of you, don't re-ink right before you're going to use the stamp pad. But anyway, I think what's really great about giving this a go is that while I'm not doing perfectly on the wood, it actually ends up being pretty well forgiving because the acrylic stamps you can see through and re-stamp again, which you can't do with other stamps that you can't see right through. So it all ends up okay, even though it takes me a couple of tries to get it going, but I ultimately am just sort of annoyed with myself for not doing a better job initially stamping on the wood veneer because like I said, I do fine on the paper. It's really not a problem, or on the photos. I'm okay with that too, but stamping on wood veneer is new for me, and I'm glad that I took the plunge and I gave it a try. I could have definitely been, more frustrated after the first attempt and not try again. Now I'm filling in a little bit of the missing ink spots with just a black pen. It works out okay on this particular wood veneer, and having used the Stays-On ink, you can't really tell when it's all finished. And it really isn't a problem since it's not on paper and it doesn't need to be perfect. The wood veneer is definitely a little bit more forgiving. So now it looks pretty good and it says magical, and I had initially wanted to use it in one of those photos, either the swimming pool or the one of my scrap space, which as you see I just pulled out of there because I'm going to reprint it because I felt like the photo was too dark. So I'm going to edit it to be lighter and then reprint it. Now I'm looking at using wood veneer right there, but I feel like I've already used wood veneer on this page, so I want to sort of lay off. I'm going to go ahead and just stamp that crown right there into that space just for a little extra added something. Now I go ahead and get that right down there, and it really still needs something. I'm not completely thrilled with just leaving it like that. Jewels or something sparkly or whatever. So I pull out my Wink of Stella pen or brush pen, and I color over first on that wood veneer. I had seen Christina Werner use the black pen and write, and it was beautiful, so I thought, why not give it a go? The clear one on top of the black ink, right? I fill in that crown as well to give it a little bit of a glittery effect, and of course a whole bunch of ink comes pouring out of the pen because I've been storing it upside down. Typically happens, but I've got a little puddle, but it's easy enough to wipe up just with a little bit of a baby wipe. The extra comes right off, and there's absolutely no damage done to the card, so that works out great, and I am very excited about that. Now, as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and just apply a layer of that right over that magical one as well. I really, again, like I said, loved how the black glittery looked, and this really did turn out to be also pretty fun as well. So as you can see, it's got kind of a milky appearance right there, but in real life, it's just sort of glittery and fun, and I do really like it a lot. Now I have that photo and it's much lighter now, which is so much better than it was when it was darker, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and get to work on this photo using my ruler to draw a couple of journaling lines along with my black Sharpie pen. As I've talked about before, I usually just use whatever I pull out first, either be it a fine-tipped sharp, um, what's that marker called by American Crafts? Slick Writer, or if I use the Sharpie. Either one is fine with me. They both work and serve the purpose just fine. I just pull out whatever I grab first. It's no big deal. Just the tiniest bit of journaling for this card about my scrap space and how it's perfectly lovely clean and just in time for me to sell my house. Now I'm also going to take that wonderful die cut tag and do the same thing and add some journaling lines and some journaling as well. After I got to looking at this spread a little bit more, I realized it might have been really neat to use a small, maybe like 2.5 by 2.5 photo right in that space as well. That would have been also super fun. But this turned out great for me to use as a journaling card with my hand-drawn lines and really talk about the photo to the right, the one of my son on the lawnmower. So I just go ahead and with that Sharpie use that card for a little bit of journaling and throw it back down in its spot right there in the middle of the page. Now I kind of love the way that all these colors sort of go together really well. It all just looks really pretty and the whole page is just fun and it's got a really sort of unique flair to it. It's not a typical spread at all. Normally I use sort of some different colors. I wouldn't put these colors together at all, but I'm really happy with how the colors all go well with my photos. Now as you can see, there's a little bit of space at the top of that photo with the lawnmower, and I was using that one of those stamps, the one that says gentleman and prince, to see if that would turn out how I wanted it to at the top of that photo. And I'm in luck because it does work. And so I really like that. It's a sort of a perfect little stamp for me to use with that photo. So I'm very, very happy with it. And I go ahead and I use my Versafine. Versafine is an ink that I use, I would say, a majority of the time. I have a really good luck getting good impressions and with just getting good stamping with the Versafine. So I use that and reach for it a lot. So now you see the page is really coming together. It's all starting to look really nice. And of course I have to try out the stamping on wood veneer again, which isn't a bad thing. So I pull my StazOn back out and I'm going to pull out that this little stamp that coordinates perfectly with the little circle wood veneer. In theory, it would work really good, but like I said, I'm just getting my bearings together with stamping on wood veneer. So it turns out just fine. It's not bad, but it's not great either. It's somewhere in between. And I really do love the idea, so I know that I will practice this in the future. And I really do believe that that's the key, is practicing. You get better by practicing different techniques, and that's how I felt comfortable stamping on paper, was just finding what worked for me. I do, however, really like the StazOn with the wood veneer. It doesn't bleed as much as some of the other inks, so I will definitely practice with StazOn on the wood veneer pieces. So now this card needs something, and I definitely need to add just a little bit more embellishment. I don't want to go too crazy, so I'm using these rub-ons. This one is of a sun, which is perfect for the playing in the pool, but then also for that bright yellow card above as well. Both ideas sort of tie it all together, both the color and the theme, which is, of course, a summer week. So that sun is really just perfect with that swimming photo. Now I'm going to pull all of this together after I add the date for the soccer camp in that photo. And I really just like adding the date directly to the photo. I could have pulled out a label sticker or a label certainly and added the date, and that would have definitely dressed the card up a lot. But this keeps it really simple and really casual, which I like a lot too. Now it's time to go ahead and start thinking about adding just a tiny bit more and maybe also adding the date to this spread, which I had sort of envisioned for that yellow card in the top left hand corner since I already journaled on a different one. I pulled out some of my American Crafts stickers and I'm just going to go ahead and add them to that specific card that I mentioned already. I like this font a lot. It's a really bright white with the black and I love the contrast, but it's definitely not formal. It's really got a very casual feel to it, so that's really fantastic. So I'm just going to go ahead and, like I said, add the date to this one particular card with those stickers. And then I also, because I really like the thickers and I really like the thickers with this spread, I'm going to go ahead and use those to sort of tie the whole spread together, not just on that one particular card. So now I'm going to go ahead and work on putting it also on this photo right here next to that little rub-on sun, which rub-ons are fantastic embellishments for pocket style scrapbooking because they don't add any bulk whatsoever and you can place them wherever you want. So not having to use alphabet stickers sometimes can be perfect. Now as you can see, the pool fun really ties it together with the date card as well, and I like that cohesiveness between those two elements. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull out the other template so I can get to work on the right side of this spread, which will be just as fun and just as whimsical as the left side. Now I've got all those photos ready to go. Most of them are still together, so I'll need to cut them apart and then also just throw down the different 4x6 photos too. Now as you can see, I'm using a square 4x4 photo from Instagram that I did print at home on my selfie. I just use that pick frame app and I add those right to one 4x6 photo. And then I also still have a few 3x4s and a 4x6 photo as well. So obviously having those 3x4s in the 4x6 slots, I have to come up with something to go behind it since it won't fit that way in the slot. It's time to pull out a few of those journaling cards or the filler cards from the kit, and there are so many that I really do like a lot. I end up choosing the yellow with the green for a couple of different reasons. One is it ties in with the 4x6 card on the left side, which is great for continuity, and it also coordinates with that green card at the bottom as well, which I am covering up the design on that card, but I don't think it's a problem at all. Now this banner on this 3x4 card is perfect for me using those thickers to notate 13U, which is the age group of my son's baseball team, and next to it the little baseball photo that I have right there. So it works out great to just add those together. Now as you can see, I've pulled the photo off the lower right hand one and I'm going to go ahead and adhere it down on top of that sentiment. I really like that card a lot and I really like the calligraphy and the fun nature of the card, but I know that it might be a stretch for me to use it, particularly in its vertical orientation. So using the card and the color is really great for me and it goes perfectly with the rest of this spread. So I'm super happy to just go ahead and do it that way. Now I've got those wood veneer stars out again, one of which I've stamped on and the other two that I have not. But as you can see, I'm just going to use that glue dot tape runner type thing to adhere all of those down. It's so easy to use and I like that there's no mess and no tearing anything up or anything like that to use those glue dots. Now to this card, I'm going to also add the journaling lines, which you've seen many, many times before, to make this into not only a card for the photo, but also to tell the story with the journaling as well. Now I'm just adding the journaling with that Sharpie pen that I've showed you time and time again, and it really does work well on this 4x6 card that comes in the the kit is made out of. They're really fantastic. The Sharpie just definitely doesn't smear or anything like that, which is very fun, and it works out good. I don't need to let it dry or anything like that when I'm finished. Now those are all tacked down, and I've made sure of that. I don't want them to come loose inside the pockets, which sometimes things do if they're not properly secured to the card. And I pull out my date roller stamp, and I'm going to go ahead and just use the StazOn and put that right down there underneath the journaling, and then that card is completely finished. Now I'm pulling out a regular card just to go ahead and attach that other 3x4 baseball photo to. I don't need anything fancy, and keeping it a much more neutral color in the white helps there not be too much going on this page, since I did use the green and the yellow. And I also want to embellish this card a little bit, which I don't typically do a whole lot, but I thought it might be fun to break out a little bit of washi tape and then also use those really fun buttons from the kit as well. So I just go ahead and sort of try to get those all situated where I feel like they look really good. And then I will go ahead and think about adhering those down as well using the glue dots. As you can see, using the glue dots is just so simple. It's why I do it all of the time. But luckily, lots of them come on the roll, and so it lasts a very long time as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and get those tiny little stars out, the stamps, and add a couple of those to this overall page. I think it adds just a little bit more fun, and I like how that turned out. And so I will go ahead and add my journaling. Now as you can see, this time I'm just using my Sharpie pen because this surface is not a slick one, and so it doesn't necessitate using a slick writer or a permanent marker. I can just use my regular one, which is great. Now, what's fun about this is at the bottom, I'm using those two baseball photos, and they're going on the outside, sort of flanking the journaling, and then the journaling is meeting up in the middle. But the journaling isn't the same at all. One is a little bit smaller and a little bit more narrow on the grid, and then the green one, it's a little bit bigger, a little less precise, and it just all sort of works out together and looks great, especially with the whimsical embellishing that we've done on both of the cards as well. Now I'll go ahead and adhere that night swimming photo right onto a 4x6 card, and then I'm going to just add some of the alphabet stickers using both those stickers and then some lime green snap alphas that match well with the green in this collection. And then I like using both of the different alphabet stickers because it sort of just gives a little bit more interest to this. It doesn't make it quite so boring. Had I used both words, night and swim, in the thickers. So this way it's just a little bit different and draws you in. Not to mention that it coordinates with the rest of the page, and that makes it fantastic. Now this card isn't quite complete. I need to add a little bit of embellishing, and so I'm going to go ahead and use some more of those rub-ons. It kind of came from the same set as the sun that I used in the previous page, so that works out good. I'm just going to use that and adhere it right down to that particular card. Now honestly, the setup is getting to be closer and closer to being finished. I just need to add the tiniest bit more. I'm going to add a little tiny bit of journaling to that baseball card, and then also some alphabet stickers to the swimming card. As you can see, I'm just going to do it right on top of the photo. I'm not adding any paper or any labels or anything like that for this, though I definitely, absolutely could have. But I really like the simplicity and the statement that it makes just using those alphabet stickers just right like that, particularly with the little period as well. It's very fun and I like it a lot. And then what those do is it ties it in with the other ones that I've used on this page and then the left page as well that we used those. So it ties both pages together just with those simple alphabets. Now as you can see, I'm just going to add one or two words right to this photo and use the Sharpie marker right on top of there. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Sweet Stamp Shop bundle of supplies. Perfect for just about anything, card making or scrapbooking or pocket scrapbooking. Thank you so much. Hope you'll have a great day and you'll stop by Sweet Stamp Shop. Thank you so much.